Hello, today I'm going to be answering the long pondered question. Can you beat Baldur's Gate 3 using only magic? Now, quick rules before we do get started. The magic only run means I cannot take melee or ranged actions or bonus actions on enemies or inanimate objects, which means I cannot swing a weapon at something, I can't take salami, I can't kick something, punch something, or use bows or crossbows. Now, some spells or cantrips that say melee are completely acceptable as they are casted. However, Thunderous Smite, Divine Smite, those sorts of things, spiritual weapons, those are not allowed. Alright, now this run officially begins when Withers is obtained, but if I can keep the spirit of the challenge before then, great. Spoiler alert, I do use magic only before Withers. And I cannot tadpole or respec until level 5, and I can't use the astral tadpole / all that stuff until level 10, but we'll get more into the nuances later. I create my character, a high elf sorcerer, because, magic. I choose the blue draconic bloodline because I really felt like doing a lightning-based spellcaster, and I name her Ceres. Like the clouds, Cirrus clouds, which as a kid I was told that always came before storms. So first, I explore the Nautiloid and pick up Shadowheart. I use the powers that be in my sorcerer body, and here is where I discovered I installed a mod that makes the characters more voluptuous. I have this thing where I tend to install mods blindly. It was too late in the run by the time I realized what was exactly going on, which was at camp, and I was way deep in the run, and I couldn't uninstall it. I tried, trust me. So this mod, I just saw 600 outfits and said, okay, cool, and I didn't think anything of it. Anyways, I take us, Shadowheart, and Lae'zel to the fight. Now, I can't use us, as he has no magic attacks, and Lae'zel doesn't have any magic either, so it's up to just Shadowheart and Ceres to take down the devil spawn in front of us. I mix the tendrils and the Nautiloid, because, they're imps and little boars, and they go down pretty easily to Ignis and Timur. And Ceres gets absolutely yeeted. After being absolutely yeeted down, she survives somehow from magical powers that be. Now Ceres picks up Shadowheart as a companion immediately off the beach, and then we find Gale's hand sticking out, and we pull him out of his little hole. We then snatch Asterion from the beaches and kill the mind flayer that captured us. After this, we venture forth into the chapel and take out absolutely everybody outside. After, of course, I did pass a dialogue option to pacify them. So I did install a mod to buff Eldritch Blast just a little bit, but it turns out it was the 8d10 version. The mod manager said I had 36 duplicates, I just deleted them all, so it'll be reserved for door blasting, chest busting, and panic moding. So anyways, after failing to get into the chapel underground, I eventually do fall down and strategize a way to kill the people inside. I hit them with a bonfire, the only time I'm going to use this cantrip in the run, and it explodes and damages my foes. Not enough, but we breeze through this battle and head on over to get Lae'zel. I fire a bolt of, fire at the bottom of her cage so she assists in defeating the tieflings nearby. After destroying them, I send her to my camp. One long rest later, and I'm on my way to the Grove, where a certain man named Will thinks he's the main character. We fight these guys with the usual cantrip spam until we have an acceptable amount of spell slots, and spells that actually do damage. Recruiting Will, I spend my time around the Grove. I get robbed, join the Thieves Guild, and save a child from being eaten by a snake. Incredible. And then I free a goblin named Saza and escort her through the depths. I go out and meet people who wanted to kill an owlbear. Who am I to say no to XP? We go there, kill the owlbear, keep the young one alive because I kill the other two who drivel on about me being a true soul. Making my way to the Blighted Village, I have Asterion shapeshift into a drow because I prepared. There, I am able to get a good vantage point to take out the goblins in the area. A bit of magic missile does come in handy. I wipe the floor with these guys and move on to saving some guy on a windmill. I laughed really hard seeing this guy just flying around, and I explore the basement and get in a battle with the matriarch spider on accident. I have this gambit thing where I'd use one of my guys as a body for the spider attack while the rest of the team did get the spider, and it did end up working. The matriarch was defeated, which left us with a mini spider. Okay, whatever. Grabbing the loot, I explore the village
Almost
some more to
sad.
find an alchemist's shack. Going into the basement, I obliterate the coffins and speak with the magic mirror. I get all 3 questions right and go right in.
All those
There's a book.
piercing
I pass a few
amethyst
skill
eyes
checks to
draw
learn the
you
secrets
in.
of said scary-looking book.
Beneath-
Now I go about my merry way to a cabin with some unsavory action occurring. I dispatch of the couple using a lightning spell combo wombo with Gale and Ceres, and then long rest. After a long rest, I pick up Karlach after speaking with some paladins of Tyr. They're actually agents of some demon named Zariel, so I take Karlach to fight them off. Now this fight, I did have some issues. No matter what I did, Aradin decided to just jump 50 meters in the air and somehow one-shot me. Not accepting this, I just use a fun little trick with explosions and fires to quickly dispatch of him this time. Anyways, Karlach goes on a fit of rage and damages my team because she's a woman child and can't control her emotions for whatever reason. Don't you just love her? Moving on from here, I made my way towards some bloated hyenas which transformed. This was actually a fair and fun battle, unlike the last one, which forced me to think a little bit. Now at level 4, I had Shocking Grasp, which I made good use of in this scenario, alongside my Electric Rope. Moving on to the next battle, spell slots were burned through to assure victory. With victory in hand, I made my way towards the goblin camp, where I met Saza once more. We travel to a ruined chapel. I play a game of Chase the Chicken, win pretty easily, and then use my powers to demand coin. I slaughter some sleeping goblins and move deeper into the building. Ceres has her hand branded by the absolute cultist goblin, who just wants to kill me. Well, I wasn't allowing that to happen as my squadron quickly dispatched of goblin after goblin. Then Ceres got whipped hard by some weird fanatic. She really liked that for some reason, and I killed the person who whipped her because we don't let that slide around here. It gave us a permanent buff, and we moved on to taking on spiders. After the spiders, I moved on to a room with an ogre. We obliterate that thing with some lucky spells, and then we go deep down into the Underdark. After a long rest, of course. We pick up Baldur Loom and battle some minotaurs with it. And this is going to come in handy. Venturing forth, we slaughter a thing rumbling around, some minotaurs, and all that fun stuff. We find a myconoid colony. They want some Draugr dead. I oblige and go off to kill them. Sovereign Glut comes with us, but he's just there to stand around and look pretty because he doesn't actually have any magical attacks. This battle I spent maybe an hour on because it was bugging out several times. Re-strategizing on what I was going to do because sometimes it just broke. Using a sing-song thing with the Lara Loom and some shatter magic missile techniques. We dispatched these guys eventually. Karlach was used to shove the reincarnated corpses down. It was funny to watch their bodies fly down and take 16 damage. This battle was won, and Glut wanted to take over the colony. Gale chucked a firebolt at him, and we came back to the colony. Reaping the rewards, we gather more materials. We have a mind flayer try to save us, and then we save a lady poisoned. She gives us speedy boots. Mention of a cure, we go down to the sorcerer tree, grab the bark and flowers, and then we move on to the castle. I had to go back with Karlach, which then dug up the grave of a dog. I took the dog collar and moved back to the tower, infiltrating the tower with a sorcerer room. I turn the power back on and meet a construct. The construct and his friends absolutely walloped us over and over. I had no idea what to do at this point. In the end, I expended all my spell slots to take him down. I grabbed the spear and then I put it on Karlach. Not like I could use it, but, good to have it. As far as spells go, Lawnmower Shadowheart was among one of my favorites to use. It played in handy very, very well and very, very often. I traveled throughout the Grimforge, picking up molds and mithril ore for my forging later. I failed to calm the Rothae and battle them, and then the gnomes for failing to calm the Rothae. Nothing major in this battle, just a bunch of experimentation and shoving that didn't work, as I am now level 5, in fact. The builds are all coming together, it would seem, and as I go along, I use a fireball trick to help wipe out some gnomes. and I use my loot to distract them. This is going to come in handy a lot later. Trust me. Perfect, really. The fight with them goes easy, then difficult, as I do get unlucky. I used Gale and Karlach as a combo for enemies to diverge their attention. Karlach would revive Gale, who would go down very easily. And Gale would take a bolt or two from a crossbow right after, diverting their attention. But Maximized Magic Missile takes out those who need taking out on the ground, and with Gale revived and a bolt missed, he finishes the job. Good job, Gale. It's probably the only time you're going to be useful in this entire run. I move along to the forge itself after fighting some animated armor. In the forge, a great beast named Grim appears. Grim's fight was easier than I expected, as all I really needed to do was have him hit by the hammer 2 or 3 times, and the mephits weren't that difficult. I kept him down with the hammer as the mephits arrived. Shadowheart's Spirit Guardians didn't quite do the job this time, but a lightning bolt quickly took out 2 instantly. After the mephits were dealt with, a combination of good luck and strategy allowed me to get Grim back in the middle. Cirrus went down hard here into the lava, but just in time we finished the battle, take out Grim, and revive her. I go along and forge all the necessary items I could, and after this I long rested and went to speak with Nier. Nier throws a slave into the lava, and I get some good information out of him before I do throw him into the lava. Well, that wasn't going to work because I needed his head. So I reload the save and I attack him normally. I used a combination of low-level spells and cantrips to whittle him down and eventually kill him. Karlach cut off his head and looted his corpse. We took the head to the Myconid leader, whom of which we battled shortly thereafter. This battle went really well. Even if I got unlucky with attack rolls, the mushrooms went down easily. A fireball directly into the Sovereign's face helped a lot. He existed because I allowed it, and he perished because I demanded it. Well, the battle was over, and so I went back to the Emerald Grove to take care of business. Gale got hungry, again, and revealed he has a bomb in his chest. Lovely. I'm sure that won't come in handy later. And Karlach got her infernal engine fixed up a bit, and I told her that I wanted to touch her. She wanted that too. Next, we rested up for the night, and we made our way back to the good old goblin camp. Before this, the owlbear cub found its way to us, but Gale scared him off though. So we met with a hobgoblin named Ragslin, who was trying to raise the dead of a mind flare. Worried that he'll figure us out, Cirrus used a wisdom check and entered the mind of Ragslin to stop him from getting the answers he wanted. We deceived him once more, then moved on to Minthara. At this point, I was like, oh shoot, no, I like Minthara. In my previous attempt of this run, this is where I blindly killed her without much thought, and that's where my save broke. And I had to completely start fresh. So this time around, I talked with her. I quickly realized, oh no, I actually kind of like her. This is dangerous. And I'm trying to romance Karlach this run. So I attack her and her crew. This, however, proves difficult as she refuses to concentration break her whole person on me, no matter how much I attack her. And I wanted to last as long as possible without resting for this strategy. So I used a little strategy I like to call Fireball. That battle was finished after I shoved a goblin into a chasm. I moved under to Ragslin and hurled another fireball at him, and this proved useful as his goons attacked me. Luckily, I cleared out the spiders below before this, or else I could have run the risk of them chucking me into that hole. They didn't chuck me into the hole, luckily, and I dispatched them without much trouble. I hit goblins with a good old lightning bolt, which dwindled their numbers significantly. Then I moved on to finding Halsin. All the goblins were hostile at this point, so it was immediate battle. It was pretty easy, as all I really had to do was cantrip spam. Getting Halsin rescued, we rushed outside. This is what I was scared of, the big ogre thing. Luckily, all I really had to do at this point was run away. I used Gale's dash, then click heal's ability to get towards the top first, and then Cirrus used a lightning bolt to absolutely destroy a group of goblins in front of her right outside the entrance. We moved up to the top of this thing and used it as both of a choke point and a vantage point. Gale found himself ensnared, but it was no matter as a maximized magic missile took care of the ensnarer. We grouped back up, and at this point I forgot I had Featherfall as a ritual spell, something that no doubt will happen later in the run. So I kind of just idled a bit until everyone was where I wanted them to be. This battle concluded and I moved on to the next group of goblins. This group of goblins was easy as cake as well. More cantrip spam, blowing up a wine barrel helped. I decided to use another lightning bolt, as I saw about 4 goblins lined up in a row. Yeah, that worked wonders. The battle finished. Now I was trying to find Auntie Ethel's house, but my team kept running through mines, so I decided, okay, I'll just reload my save and go to the Underdark. I did precisely that, then found the portals of the swamps. I went to the swamps, and I found Auntie Ethel, and before this I did destroy some Belial supporters. Anyways, I insulted her until she turned into a hag and went down. This time I remembered I had Featherfall, dropped down, and battled her after throwing a bottle to save the girl. This battle, wasn't too difficult, as I had enough spell slots to spam Fireball, Shatter, and Magic Missile. Eventually, I did dwindle her down to the point she asked to spare her. Well, first I accidentally killed her, but then I reloaded my save. Anyways, I decided, rolled for persuasion, and got both her lock of hair and the girl safe. She was rude to me, so I chucked her down the chasm. Next up, I went back to the Tiefling camp and grove, stole their idol, and moved on to the party. Great times were had by all, as Ceres rejected literally everyone but Karlach, whom of which she wanted to drink a fire resistance potion. The night ended, and we were off to Moonrise Towers. But first stop was the creche. I swap out Karlach for Lae'zel, whom of which I put 2 fighter levels and 4 druid levels. Yes, druid. Something about fighter druid calls to me. Plus, it's not warlock again, and wisdom is her highest spellcasting skill. That's a 10. I sink her feet into warlock initiate for the Eldritch Blast, and then I head on over through to find the Githyanki dragon. We speak with all these Gith guys, and move on through to the other side. I go on, and we're going to skip this battle with the undead guys because it's straight up BS, unfair, and not fun. Resists literally almost everything. Awful fight. Anyways, I moved towards the chapel where a lady asked to buy a Githyanki egg. I'd scramble it, to be honest. I enter the building and fight fire kobolds after using a stealth shocking grasp on a sleeping one. Hurling firebolts and whatnot at them, I dispatch of them, but not entirely without damaging my party heavily. I venture along further and deeper into the chapel, where I find ceremonial weapons, in which I place atop of the pedestals. I mess up once, fine. I skip a fight, including these magic immune cat things, because I found out the hard way what a fireball does to them. It does not affect them. I get smart with a Guardian of Faith, making sure to stay out of its reach, and I wipe out eagles with relative ease. It took me a few save loads to get them to not chuck me off the building, but I managed. So next up was physically entering the creche. I entered the creche to get Lae'zel purified, and almost kills her. I take the power for myself from the machine, and steal the lady's vine parasites. Yummy worms. I inject them into my skull after hitting her with a stealth shocking grasp. I put in psionic backlash. Now this is going to come in handy for the rest of the run. Trust me. I then move on to the next room to fight those guys. This one was kind of touchy, kind of sketch and go, but I did use a fireball here. I move on to the incubation room to steal the egg. Spikes does absolutely nothing. Thanks, Lae'zel. You really came in handy. Really came through for me here. I misty step with Ceres to the top of the thing where I do good damage to the incubator guy, but he pushes me off and into the acid, which I am jailed with the portal thing. Lae'zel Eldritch blasts the doors and I am freed. I finish the battle, steal the egg, I go to the training room after, and played my silly little loot tunes to use a fireball to cool the herd. Incredible that these don't hurt your own team, but a lightning bolt does. Because I did kill the Inquisitor earlier with 2 lightning bolts, and one of them killed Shadowheart. So anyways, I clear them out with relative ease and move on to the Inquisitor's chambers. Now, I'm level 7, and my friend warned me earlier that it was going to be a boss battle, so I prepared by healing up. No rests needed. I enter the prison after Vlaakith makes me bow, and then I don't kill the Guardian. Instead, I kill the Inquisitor with ease. A maximized lightning bolt and a level 4 fireball does wonders as he's whittled down. He's eventually killed from psionic overload, and it makes the fight so much easier. I hit a bunch of spells like Scorching Ray and such. I forgot about my other spells again, like blindness and armor of Garthist, of course, and I won. Moving on, I go to the Blood of Lathander and acquire it without issue. I head onto the Cursed Shadowlands from the Grimforge and pick up 2 torches, one for Ceres and one for Gale. Valara Loom will have to wait until the torch is no longer needed. Same with the Blood of Lathander's mace. I travel through until the Harpers come and investigate me. The shadows take one of them, and it's off to battle. Karlach jumps to a high place, and Shadowheart goes charging in. And this makes me think, how terrifying would it be for a Karlach to jump down into your battle zone? Anyways, her Radiant Light attacks is sorta like a melee attack, as it has a 3-meter range of effect, and any creature in it gets hit, almost, and I do use meters. I tried using Imperial, but I don't know, it just wasn't making sense for me for some reason. And it has a higher chance of hitting them than Divine Light, and does just a little bit less potential max damage. Knowing this, I hit the shadows with it, and I'm off the last light end after a heal. Well, first I fight the Ravens with some Sword Burst, and that fire spell that works kind of like a melee. And the cone that Gale has, yeah. Anyways, I move on to the last light. Jaheira questions me, and I'm like, Karlach gets her cooling chamber, and I kiss her. Lovely. Then I go to the Selûnite girl, who gives me a blessing. I fight the guy who comes in, I save the girl, Isabel, and there was also Mole and Raphael stuff and some flaming fists and Karlach geeking over Jaheira, but who cares? I find the Harpers, who help me ambush the Moon Lantern Havers. This fight can be annoying since the Drider has Sanctuary. However, it was easier than I expected, even if I did hurl what I thought was an AoE spell at him that didn't work. I used a few counter spells so that my team didn't die so early, and when they ran out, Gale felt the effects of it, taking a lot of damage. See, that's the thing with Gale. Everyone attacks him first. He has the lowest HP out of all of us too, so he always ends up just being obliterated fairly quickly. Anyways, I did fireball him, I grabbed the Moon Lantern, and find out he who speaks or whatever. The guy with the White Raven. The White Raven thinks I can help. I make my way to the city area. I find Arabella, who uses a vine trap for the shadows, which I kill easily. I don't find her parents. Then I explore, convincing Mr. Dr. Thorm to have his servants kill themselves, and then for the doctor to kill himself. Awesome. Now the good thing here is it has the same XP count as if you killed him, so I saved myself some time. Then I go to the bar where I tell stories and fake drink. This Thorm there explodes. I fight the guys in there, nothing more than cantrip spamming. I find the Toll Thorm and have her explode into coins. I pick up all the coins and head into Moonrise itself. One thing I missed in the script writing is the defense for Halsin's portal. Incredibly easy for me. Ice spikes, Radiant Spirit Guardians, set just at the perfect angle, Fireball, and Lightning Bolt saves the day, as they're all AoE attacks. But first, I find Thaniel and fight his daddy and mommy. Tough, but fair fight. Nothing real of note here. Moonrise Towers. I obliterate any and everyone, everywhere, within the tower, focusing first in the basement area. Lightning bolts and fireballs go as far distance as I help the Tieflings and Mr. Warbong escape to the last light in. I go back and slaughter people in the upstairs tower, killing the poor dog in the process. Balthazar's room proves useful for a boon. Then back to fighting people. I use a good old gather everybody up in a group and fireball tactic. Works every time. They cast a lot of Guardians of Faiths, but I defeat those guys. The fight spills into the main room as scrying eyes call reinforcements. And no matter, as even those whom of which do attack, they're pretty weak. Lawnmower Shadowheart comes to the rescue to mow down just about anything in her path. Anyways, I continue off to He Who Was. I kill him after siding with a woman, and then I head on off to the Shren Museum. Horrible pathfinding as me reloading the save 20 times, but I do manage to get into the trials. I convince the Displacer Beast to help me fight Yerger, and then I fight him. For some reason, absolutely no AI wanted to move during this fight until I killed Yerger. Sure, it made it a lot easier, but man, it was kind of annoying, as it would linger for 20 to 30 seconds longer than necessary per enemy. Once Yerger was dead though, all the AI decided to move again. They slay Gale for the 50th time, and I was getting real sick of Gale dying at this point. So after I win this fight with the Displacer Beast being killed unfortunately, I move on to the next battle with the portals. Gale goes down again, but I do destroy the portals with a bit of firebolt magic missile combo, and I'm doing pretty okay for myself. The reincarnated things are no help at all, other than being bodies in which I use for the AI enemies to use as a distraction. I win the battle, then instantly lightning bolt Mr. Baldur. The brute thing is immune to lightning damage, unfortunately, but he wasn't immune to cold. A nice storm hits him, but Gale goes down for the 100th time this time, and a cloak of daggers, or whatever, the circle attack, does wonder, alongside Spirit Guardian's Radiant, the little doorway thing. I get a level up, and I spec a level of fighter into Gale. I was absolutely sick of him dying for no reason so quickly, so this gets him armor proficiency, in which I put on medium armor. I will keep his other robe just in case, because it does have advantage to dexterity throws and stuff, but for now it stays off. Moving on to the trials, I drink a potion of invisibility and unlock the gates. I sneak through the rest of the way and get orb number 1. Trial 2 is my party versus my party. Of course, this party absolutely cheated, as I do not have Acid Arrow, and Gale absolutely does not have Action Surge quite yet. Other than that, they went down with relative ease, actually. I moved on to Trial 3, which was just trial and error, clicking the other side until Ceres stopped falling off to her death or getting teleported back. Trial 4 was scary. I thought I was doomed when I entered the Silence Room, but luckily I just backed out of it and was able to hit the Librarian from there. After the silence fell, Spirit Guardians came in handy. At this point, Ceres is just a shocking grasp melee fiend, and Gale is sometimes doing that, but he's still far too fragile to be anywhere near the front lines. Trial 4 is complete after a guide lies to me saying which bookshelf to take from. I go off and get what I need, and then off to the night song it is. First time Shadowheart dies by my hand. Kind of anticlimactic here. I would have stuck with this choice and grabbed Halsin if I were able to grab my gear off of her, but I saw she was way up near the start for some reason and I couldn't get my gear, so I did reload my save to allow her to be persuaded. She was. A little bit of sequence breaking here, as she says Shar's will must be done as she goes from the top back to the portal thing, and she's all whiny and whatnot. Long rest, and Karlach and Ceres get all buddy-buddy. Haha, get it? Anyways, I go to Moonrise to tackle the absolute forces. More like there was absolutely no one there. I don't know what happened here, I guess it was from me slaughtering everyone before, as I only fought 3 gnolls, another guy, and Zrel. That was really easy, even if she did a failed black hole. I had a fireball on the gnolls, and then just shocking grasped Zrel to death, picked up the tadpoles, and moved on. The psionic backlash power in the tadpoles is really overpowered, I'm going to be honest. It's incredible. It's been a powerhouse of the run thus far. So I fight Ketheric, and a lot of AoE goes out. First a lightning bolt from Ceres to clear out the right row of thralls, then Ice Storm from Jaheira to slip in the battlefield where Ketheric lies. Grease makes the lady slip before being bolted by fire, the ice is melted, and Ceres launches a lightning attack to electrify the surrounding area. The critical hit makes Ketheric go and retreat. The rest of the thralls are eliminated. We dive into the Absolute's room thing. This area is full of hostos, as well as intellect devourers, which I use as XP farms. I first free the prisoners and Spirit Guardian Necrotic the Mind Flayers, as well as Magic Guard thing that I forgot the name of. I think it was upcasted. Oh well, they're defeated. I free Missoura because I guess I no longer have any authority in the matter. No matter again, Will is freed in 6 months, and I move on to the next room. A few cultists in there. A fireball strikes them. They strike me with a fireball. Guess Gale was out of spell slots for counterspell at this point. I kill them with the Cone of Cold. Moving forth is a room with a ton of zombies. Spirit Guardians Radiant it is. That with a cloud of daggers and Ceres misty stepping over to the Death Warden, this fight goes on with ease. She is down towards the end, but not before downing the Warden with her. AoE spells save the day, and we move on to the Butcherer's room after solving some puzzle thing. We butcher the Butcherer with a cloud of daggers, grease, and cantrip spam. We free our friend Us. Welcome back, Us. And I do splurt Shadowheart with the juices.
Wonderful. Now I'm splattered like a sloppy butcher.
and now it's time for the real battle. What many people, I'm sure, thought was the end of the game. I rest up at the restoration pod, and I venture forth down into the abyss. We go into the downstairs section, and Gale blows himself up. Oh wait, never mind. That's a bad anticlimactic ending. This isn't too bad. I misty step on over to the Mind Flare. Ketheric starts the battle. Karlach misty steps to the Night Song. She's freed, but does jack all as she's downed almost immediately. So much for that. I hit a couple of lightning bolts and fireballs in the general vicinity. Sarah seems to be the one being attacked. I get in close, hit Ketheric until he transforms, and I get absolutely bodied at this point. But Saris does manage to get out of the way. From here, it's rather straightforward. Shadowheart places a few Guardians of Faith, one of which does jack, but the other one also does jack. Good thing I long rested. Well, anyways, I defeat Ketheric, and then I move on to Baldur's Gate. But wait, Gith attacked me. Good thing I long rested. This fight was more difficult than Ketheric. Lightning bolts, magic missiles, and fireballs saved the day. Spirit Guardian's concentration breaks. I win the battle, move on to the city. Halsin showed up dead at my camp for whatever reason. Jaheira is here too, and I guess I'm attacked by Gith. Misty step after finding out the Mind Flare ending and make it to the astral plane. Level 10 now, I get 3 cantrip slots. Much more useful here. I dispel the Gith with a cone of cold, then fireball, and pushing some off the edge. Find out the Guardian is the Mind Flare. What a shame. I accepted the tadpole, but it's ugly, so I install a mod that makes it not ugly. And now, that is the end of Part 1. Next up will be Act 3. Will I be able to beat Baldur's Gate 3? Act 3? Using only magic? Who's to say? Find out next time.